You know, every now and then you hear a story that just sticks with you. One of those clever tales that makes you think. Well, today we're diving into one of those. It's an old fable called The Parrot's Message. And trust me, it's more than just a story. It's kind of a riddle about freedom, all wrapped up in this beautiful narrative. So, at the very heart of it, the whole story is about this one powerful image, a beautiful, talkative parrot living its life in a gorgeous, gilded cage. But as we're about to see, even the most beautiful cage is still, well, it's still a cage. But this isn't just about being trapped. It's about a secret message, a kind of hidden code that held the key to this parrot's freedom. So the big question is, how could a few simple words possibly unlock a physical cage? Let's get into it. Our story kicks off with a wealthy merchant in Iran and his most prized possession, his companion, a parrot. Now, this bird had it all: love, fancy surroundings, total safety. But it was missing the one thing that really truly mattered.
So their whole relationship was kind of paradoxical, you know? The merchant absolutely adored his smart, chatty parrot. They had a real friendship, would talk for hours on end. But while the bird was totally safe and pampered, that beautiful cage was this constant, shiny reminder of what it didn't have.
And this right here sets up the story's central conflict. Our caged parrot had comfort, it had safety, it had affection. Meanwhile, its relatives out in the wild, they had to find their own food and face danger every single day. But they had the one thing our parrot dreamed of: total, absolute freedom. It's that classic question, isn't it? Would you rather have a safe cage or a dangerous open sky?
And it's this deep desire for freedom that really moves the whole story forward. See, an unexpected event in the merchant's life suddenly opens up this tiny window of opportunity, a little sliver of hope for his friend. So, the merchant has to go on a long business trip. And get this, his destination is none other than India, the parrot's homeland, a place just filled with these lush forests and huge flocks of wild, free parrots. Being a good friend, the merchant wants to bring something back. So, he asks a very simple, loving question. He was probably expecting the parrot to ask for, a special kind of fruit or a shiny new trinket, but the answer he got was anything but simple.
Yeah, the parrot didn't ask for a gift at all. Instead, it made this really strange, almost solemn request. It asked the merchant to deliver a message. And this was the message. It's not a cry for help, not a plea for rescue. It's just a description of its sadness and a request for advice. And notice that very careful phrasing: how to handle this sorrow. It's not asking how to escape, but how to live with it. That's a really crucial detail. You can just imagine the merchant, right? He must have been totally baffled. What kind of request is that? But he was a loyal friend, so his loyalty won out over his confusion, and he gave his word. He would find those parrots in India, and he would deliver this very strange message, word for word. Okay, so the merchant gets to India ready to make good on his bizarre promise. What he has no idea about is that delivering this message is going to have a shocking and immediate effect. He makes his way through this dense green forest, and sure enough, he finds a huge flock of parrots, just like his friend back home. So he calls out to them, and he faithfully recites the sorrowful message that he memorized.
I mean, just picture that scene for a second. A man in the middle of a forest talking to a flock of birds about their trapped cousin thousands of miles away. What would you expect them to do? Just chirp and fly off? What would actually happen was way more dramatic.
The second the merchant finished speaking, something unbelievable happened. One of the wild parrots just started to tremble. Then it tumbled right off its branch and fell to the forest floor. It just lay there, completely still. It looked dead. The merchant is absolutely horrified. He's convinced that his words, this message, just killed an innocent creature. He's just flooded with guilt and does the only thing he can think of. He gets out of there, fast, leaving that tragic scene behind him. So now we're back home. The merchant has this heavy heart and a really tragic story to tell his friend. But it's right here, in the telling of this story, that the secret message is finally and brilliantly decoded. As soon as he gets home, the merchant goes to his parrot's cage. He explains what happened. He describes the beautiful flock, the message he delivered, and then the terrible sudden death of the bird that heard it. And then, I kid you not, history repeats itself. As his own parrot listens to the story, it starts to shiver violently. And just like that bird in India, it drops from its perch and lands in a heap at the bottom of the cage, totally motionless. The merchant is just shattered.
He now thinks this cursed message has taken 2 lives. He's completely heartbroken, so he opens the cage door, just wanting to hold his beloved friend one last time.
And this is the moment the whole story pivots. This simple act of grief becomes an act of liberation, and the true genius meaning of that message is finally revealed. Because the parrot wasn't dead. Not at all. The very moment the merchant's hand touches it, the bird springs to life, shoots out of that open cage door, and flies straight to the nearest window. It's free. At last.
And this is where it all clicks into place. The parrot explains it to the stunned merchant, that wild bird didn't die of sadness. It was acting. It was sending back a coded message, not with words, but with an action. The advice was this: to escape your cage, you have to appear worthless to your captor. Your prized voice, your special talent, that's what keeps you trapped. Pretend to be dead, and the door will open.
And that just leaves us with this incredible question, doesn't it? The parrot had to let go of the very thing that made it so valuable to the merchant, being this talkative, prized companion, in order to get free. And it kind of makes you wonder, right? What comfortable cages might we be living in? And more importantly, what parts of ourselves might we have to play dead to in order to find our own way out?